Hello and welcome to Planners Place YouTube channel. For our tutorial today, we're looking for a way to calculate variance against multiple baselines in Microsoft Project. This tutorial is at the request of one of the subscribers to this YouTube channel, Ravi. And his schedule currently has 6 saved baselines, and he's looking for a way to compare his schedules and finish dates against the very first baseline that he saved, and also, if he can, against any of the other 4 baselines in addition to the current baseline. By default, to the best of my knowledge, variances in Microsoft Project are calculated against only one baseline, and that's the set baseline, or call it baseline 0 if you want, but not against any of the other 10 baselines that are saved. That's like baseline 1 to 10. So what's the solution? It's Microsoft Project, so there's always a workaround. And for that, we need a way to access the data that are saved with baselines in Microsoft Project. And I'm aware of set of 5 fields that are saved with baseline. For each task, you have the start date, the finish date, duration, cost, and work data saved. And for each resource, you have the cost and work data saved. So, so what we want is to find a way to calculate this finish date variance against the first baseline, or the second, third, not just the current baseline. And we're going to use, you guessed it, custom fields, which is my go-to feature in Microsoft Project. But before we get into the details, what's the maths behind variance calculation? In Microsoft Project, variance is like it's equal to current value minus baseline value. So for each of these 5 fields, start, finish, duration, cost, and work that's saved, this is what you want. For variance, you just do the current value of any of them against the baseline value, the baseline you're interested in. So in Ravi's case, the finish variance will be finish date minus baseline finish, and the baseline finish being the current baseline finish date. But what he wants is, if you say, assuming the field, it's what we want to call finish variance against the first baseline, and that will be finish date minus baseline 1 finish. I'm assuming baseline 1 is the first baseline that's saved. So yeah, that's the intro. Let's look into it. Let's open a schedule and look into this. So assuming we have this Microsoft project schedule, just a simple schedule with milestones, engineering task, procurement task, and construction task. Just dummy tasks, just shown them to make it easy to explain. I've also added the calendar column so that you can see when we're doing calculations, because we're doing start or finish dates. A task calendar might come into play. So I've used different calendars, your standard calendar, which is a 5-day week, and then I've also introduced a 7-day week calendar. So the engineering activities got a 5-day week, procurement and construction got a 7-day week calendar. Okay, so this is our schedule. Let's look at the project start date. We've got 1st of February 2023. Now we want to save. First thing to do, save a baseline. So to save a baseline, you click on the project tab, click on set baseline. You set baseline. Yeah, make sure the set baseline checkbox is ticked. Yep, we want to save baseline for the entire project. We say, okay, that's our baseline saved. You can check, you can just click on Gantt chart, you see It shows you baseline is saved, last saved on today, 29th of May. Okay, so that's our baseline saved. You can confirm that by going to Microsoft Project has got a table for variance, so you can which will save the baseline information. If you click on that table variance, you see it's showing us your start fields, finish, baseline, start, baseline, finish, start variance, everything is zero, finish variance, everything is zero. Okay. If we go back to our entry table, now that we've saved the baseline, next thing is we need to also store this information so that when we do like a rebaseline or an interim baseline, we don't lose this information we've just saved. We don't override our baseline. So if we go back to project, set baseline, click on set baseline again. So this time we do a copy from baseline, which is what we just saved, to baseline one. So what we're doing is taking a copy of the baseline we just set and making it baseline one. So it becomes our first baseline. Click OK. It's saved. You can still look at it. You see, now we have two baselines saved. In this case, they're both the same thing. So that's fine. So let's make a few changes to this schedule. So assuming it's 1st of March, we'll set our status date as 1st of March. Yep, let's say the project started on 1st of February as planned. Let me just put the percent complete column. Um, yeah, this engineer, let's say dummy one, the engineering dummy one task started on the 1st of February, but instead of finishing on the 28th of March, we're saying it's extended beyond that. Say this is now 25 days. Remember, our status date we're doing this is the 1st of March. So we're looking at it with the 1st of March lens. So if you go, say it's on track, if we just mark on track against, okay, that gives us that. So nothing else should have started. So this time, if we go to our variance table, now we have this, we have some variances. You can see, um, yep. So you can see engineering complete milestone, 7 days behind. By the way, in Microsoft Project, negative variance is good and positive variance is bad. Kind of positive for dates shows you're ahead of schedule. Negative for dates shows you're ahead of schedule, and positive dates. Positive variance for dates is like, oh, you're behind schedule. So this is showing we're 7 days behind with engineering. That's 7 calendar days. But if you look at it from a 5-day week, we're a week behind basically. So and this shows you while it started on the date issue, there's no start variance for dummy one, but the finish variance is 5 days behind. Also, dummy two slipped because of the logic in the schedule, and it's cascaded down to all other tasks. So if we go back to our entry table, now, assuming we're happy with that, we want to save this current information as a new baseline. We repeat the process. We do set baseline. Yep, it's the baseline we want. You replace it, entire project. Baseline has been used. Are you sure you want to override the data? Yes. we just replace that. So if you go to back to the table now, the variance table, you see the variances are all back to zero because we've replaced that baseline with another baseline. Our baseline one information is still there. So if I click here, you see baseline one information is still there. But because we've now had a second baseline, what we need is to copy that information to baseline two because this is now our second baseline. So I go back to set baseline, set an interim baseline, copy from baseline to baseline two and save that. So I have two baselines saved now. Okay. The first baseline, the second baseline, which is same as the current baseline. Now we can repeat this for, you know, so in Ravi's case, it's got six of this. It's got baseline one to six saved as this form, and baseline six is the same as the current baseline. So if I fast forward to, let's say, to 1st of May, so I'll just like assume that we've progressed the schedule we've done for March. Let's do for April and May. So I'll pause, and when I come back, I'll just show you with all the other baselines saved. Okay, I've set the baselines. So the baselines, if you check here, you see I've got four baselines saved. This is the original baseline, 1st of February, the second one, 1st of March, 1st of April, and this baseline 4 is 1st of May. Okay, so that's how we've got four baselines saved, and we still have also the current baseline. So the last save baseline in my case, the way I do mine, it's always the same as the current baseline. So if you check, if we go to our table, variance, we see because we just got the saved baseline, all the variances, we've got like zero, no variance. So because this default variance table is against the set baseline, baseline zero, you can't see any other you see this is against the baseline zero. So what if we want to do for baseline one like Ravi wants? So first of all, let's save let's take a copy of this table. So I go table, more tables, copy. I just call this baseline one variance. Oh, let's say first baseline variance. And this time I might just put the date, 1st of February. Tick this checkbox showing menu so that it appears in the drop-down menu. So what I want is for the fields I want ID, task. Do I need a mode? Not really, but I'll leave it. Name, start, finish. Now what I want is baseline one. So I go baseline one, start. Yep. Baseline one, finish. Okay. Click OK. I can close this. Yep, because we said show in menu, it's appeared on our menu. See first baseline variance. I click on that. Now, you see, it's still showing us start variance, finish variance. even though our dates are different, this is 28th April, and this is 25th. Baseline one was 25th April. It's still saying zero variance. If you remember earlier, I said variance is calculated against the set baseline, which is baseline zero. And that's why this is happening. So we need a way to, so what we need is we need custom fields. So for that, we can hide these two fields because it's not giving us what we want. If we need against the current baseline, we can always use the default variance table. So we need, since we're doing finish variance, it's in days. Or let me just undo what I just, yeah, you see this, they're shown in days, and that's what we want. So if for finish variance, if we do, if we insert a new, so if we go with duration, custom duration field, so if you do duration one, yep. So I'm going for duration instead of number, instead of a number field, because this comes with days. And because it's a duration custom field, Microsoft Project recognizes it as that, and the calculation is actually simple. But I also add a number field so that I'll show you what I'm, maybe it would be better if I explain what I'm talking about. Yep. So if I go back to a table, I just want to format it a little bit better. Make it center. Yep, okay. So yeah, we've got these two fields. So you see, this already knows it, recognizes it as it's going to be days, but this has no units. That's one of the shortfalls of using numbers. So for this, if I go Gantt chart format, custom field, I can rename this what I call it, baseline one finish variance. Remember what I said about variance equals current value minus baseline value. So for first baseline to finish minus baseline one, okay? So the formula we're looking for should be finish minus baseline one finish. So baseline one finish, okay? That's what we're looking for. Click OK. It says existing variance and data in baseline one finish variance field will be deleted. Yeah, we go for yes. Click OK. Now, you know, the difference between this is you've got, this is current engineering complete date is 28th of April, and the baseline one was 25th. So you'll be expecting, how many days is that? Three days, 3-day variance or so. But it's giving us 0.01 days. That's a strange one. Anyway, we'll come to that. For the number field, maybe I'll go back to this. Oh, no, for the number field, we'll go click on number, custom field. Um, just call it just say baseline one variance check. We're not really going to use this, but just to show you why I'm not using why I'm using a duration field for the date variance instead of a number field. So if we go here we do date, same thing, minus baseline one finish. You see, this gives us what we're looking for, 3. Of course, we can use conversions to add the unit to it, but then you ask yourself, why is it not giving us what we want? And that's because this field is a duration field. You see, duration. And duration, the simple math of plus and minus normally works if you're subtracting a duration from another. But because we're subtracting two date fields, that it wouldn't work. So what we need is to use one of the date functions that come with Microsoft Project. So we delete this. We look for date. So project date difference, that's what we're looking for. Project PRJ date project date difference, that's what we're looking for. So date 1 will be the first date we want to use in our calculation, and that should be baseline 1 because it's the first date we're comparing against. So you go baseline 1 finish. This will be the current date, which is the finish date. Now for calendar, if you don't define a calendar, what happens is Microsoft Project uses the task calendar for the calculation. So, and in our case, we want that. Remember, that's why I showed the calendar in the table because we have some task with 5-day week calendar and others with 7-day week calendar. So it works. So remove that calendar, say okay. Excuse me. Yeah, I think we can also use the formula for summary. Yep. You click OK. See, now it's calculating well. It's showing you 3 days. Let me also, for this, set the summary to use. So it's showing you 3 days. This is 12 days variance. Now, this is a good part. You see, the variance between dummy 1, 28th of February to 7th. If you're counting calendar days, it's 7 days variance, 1 week. And that's why you see, if you use the number field, it shows you that. But without the, what's it called? The project date difference calculation. But here it's taking the calendar into account and it's like, oh, this is a weekday, this is a 5-day week. Let me just, this is a 5-day week. So the variance is 5 days. You see, this is 9-day, this is showing us 9 calendar days, but in a 5-day week it's 7 days. And so that's that. And you can see, so this is fine. This was meant to finish on the 10th of June. It's now scheduled to finish on the 20th of May, and that's why you have this negative variance. So this is it. This is just a check to help you to make sure you're doing the right calculation. So I'll hide this. You don't need this. So yeah, so that's it. So you've got variance against baseline 1 finished variance. If you want to do for start field, it's the same thing. In this formula, you place baseline 1 finish with baseline 1 start and here finish. And so you've got your table. So your default variance, which you calculate variance against the live schedule, against the live baseline, is still showing 0. But if you want to see for the first baseline variance, you can see. And similarly, you can set up for the other three variances, like the second, third. The fourth variance is the same as the current variance. Sorry, the fourth baseline is the same as our baseline 0 for now. So you can set up your system, your file to also show for the others, and it's just the same way. So we can do it this way. Maybe if I go back to view, take a copy of this and say second baseline variance. Click OK, close. See, I forgot to tick the show in menu checkbox, and that's why it's not appearing for me to select from the drop down. So if I go back to more tables, it's there. I click edit, show in menu. Okay, close it. I could have clicked apply, but I just want, it's good picking it up from the, see, it still has 1st of February date. That's not what I want, but I can edit it. Select it, go back, edit. So this time it's 1st of March because that's a, click OK. Yep. So yeah, 1st of March. So for that, this is baseline 2 now. So instead of this, we change this to baseline 2 start. I can hide this. Baseline 2 finish. I can hide this. Now, this is baseline 1 finish. So what we want is it's a new variable. So we go for duration 2. Repeat the same thing. Custom field. Let me rename this. Baseline 2 finish variance. So formula, we get the function project date difference. First day to be baseline 2 finish. Against the current finish date. We don't need a calendar defined to go use the default, the task. Click OK. Yeah, when prompted, say OK to wipe any data in that field. Use formula for summary too. Now, you see, baseline 2 variance is different from baseline 1 variance, so we can hide this. You don't need this. And that's it. Your table is set up for comparing against the second variance. So you can do this for any fields you want. Like, so if you go back to view, we can switch. Our default variance table is this. It's against the current. For baseline 1 is this. Baseline 2 is this. You can set it up for, you know, yeah. You can set it up for baseline 3 too, which is 1st of April. Or for start variance, for duration variance, cost, work. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show you for today. As always, if you like my videos, click subscribe. That will inspire me to come up with more videos. And if you got any problems in Microsoft project you want help with, especially with custom fields, give us a shout and we'll look into it for you. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.